I was doing some cooking on my Blackstone E-Series indoor electric griddle. And while I was cooking, I thought, I wonder if it would be possible to fry some foods on this griddle. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about something like a big piece of chicken, although some thin cut chicken may actually work. But I decided to first try out some fish and some shrimp. Now, I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to use some milk and some fish fry. And the fish fry is already seasoned, so I don't have to add anything to it. I think the toughest task might be keeping the oil from running on the Blackstone, because the Blackstone is not really exactly level, plus the surface that I have it on is not really level. And you've seen some other videos where things tend to pool up to the side over here. I did put something underneath it to hopefully try to keep it as level as possible, but I'm not sure if the oil is going to run everywhere or not. So all I can do is give it a try, and you guys can come along and see if this works out. Alright, first I'll take my fish and I'll drop it in my milk, and then I'll just coat it in my fish fry. And I'll do the same thing for the other two pieces of fish. Okay, now I'm going to put some oil on the griddle, and hopefully it doesn't run everywhere and cause a huge mess. Put a little bit more right here. I've got it on 350 because that's really the temperature that I usually use to deep fry foods. Alright, I'm going to put a little more oil over here for my shrimp. I have absolutely no idea if this is going to work out or not, but it is something that I wanted to try. And no matter what, I'm just not sure this is going to be a practical way to fry foods. But either way, I thought it'd be fun to try it out. What I find interesting is that the oil is kind of staying put around the food. The oil tends to run when it's on there by itself, but when you put the food on it, it kind of stays in whatever area it's in. I think I'm going to try to move my shrimp up just a little bit, because these right here are not going to get as much heat as the ones closer to the middle. Nothing's sticking either. It's been about 3 minutes since I put the shrimp on, so that means the fish has about 4 minutes on it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it and just kind of have a look at how it's doing on the other side. Got a nice little crust on it. Need to kind of move this oil around a little bit since it's still pulling up here in the front. Move the shrimp. Not much oil right here. Let me turn my shrimp over and see how they're looking. Not exactly like deep fried shrimp, but they don't really look too bad. Oh, I took some breading off on that one. As I flip them, I'm just trying to put them back into some of the oil rather than just sitting on the griddle itself without anything on it. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes since I flipped everything, so I'm going to take one of these shrimp and I'm going to check the internal temperature. It's really hard to tell just by looking at it whether it's done or not. And that shrimp is definitely done, so let me check one more. Yep, the shrimp are definitely done. So I'm going to pull those off. They really don't look all that bad. Now the breading did not stick to that one very well, but I think it was my fault when I squeezed it with the tongs. I kind of pushed the breading off. Alright, I'm going to check this piece right here since it's pretty thick. And I'm up to 177 degrees on that. Yeah. So it looks like the fish is done. So let me pull these off. So there's fish and shrimp both fried on the Blackstone griddle, which I'm kind of surprised how well it worked out, especially considering that both the fish and the shrimp were sitting in almost no oil. But it looks pretty good, it smells good, so I guess I learned something new every day. Now I would still say that this is probably the least practical way to fry something, but in the end it actually worked. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.